Hi. Hope you're having a great week. I was trying to figure out when that was going to cut to the camera, and I did it flawlessly.
Oh, I did it flawlessly.
You did it flawlessly because you cut. I did a really long well. Thanks for being here, you guys. Welcome to the John Campea Show. This is a non-Campea Show episode, though, because John is still recovering, still recuperating. So thank you so much for all of your well wishes towards him. He should be back with us shortly, hopefully. But in the meantime, you've got your Batman Beyond crew here. Woo! I'm going to be your host, Chris Carr, along with Jonathan Voico and Ray Ora.
I am here. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
And I haven't seen you guys since like mid-December.
So mid.
Which is weird. So mid.
It's so mid.
It's so mid that it was mid.
The mid of December.
Yeah.
So much that I just gave them their Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Right? So
can we show them off, Ray?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh! If you were watching this on YouTube, I got a Logan Funko. I love him. I sent this to him too, Ray, and he loves that you put Logan Carr. He wants you to sign it.
Okay. And Jonathan got one too.
Yeah.
Got him in his
It
little.
says my name and everything.
Yeah. So
Real cute.
he's carrying a little paint bucket
A little
here.
paint can.
Little quick story right
What's
here.
the paint can about? I know.
Me and Jonathan were working at this one studio, and they were shutting down, so we had to clean out the whole studio. We had some long days there, Jonathan.
Okay.
We had some long days there, and it wasn't that the fact that
Not only did we have to clean out that studio within days.
Oh.
Okay, I mean an entire studio that had been in operation for like a decade. So there was a
Just
lot of
Jonathan.
stuff. I also was re-editing an entire season of a show
All of that.
at the same time.
Oh, no.
While Ray was starting to pack up, and they were doing construction above us. They had like a skill saw on the roof because we were the top floor, and I was like trying to rapidly edit.
Yeah, this guy's
fixed
jackhammering.
audio.
This
while
guy's
people were-
jackhammering on the roof, and Jonathan's trying to listen to trying to get the audio. And
I literally was like just shaking the whole time.
yeah, it was for some Netflix show too.
Yeah.
He was like, and the only thing they complained about was the audio, and I was like, well, the dude has some guy jackhammering right above him. Like,
Well, I had to fix audio while that was going on in my ear as well.
but
Oh,
anyways,
geez.
me and Jonathan, we were just fed up. Fed up because it was long days, and not only that, the short span to get home when we got out sometimes took us 2 hours to get back. This small
that
road,
like?
the Warner Brothers studio road, wherever Warner Brothers is, that long. Anyways, so me and Jonathan, our last day, I put on because I was so happy that we were done. I put on
That'll show
my
you to be
brand
happy.
new fresh Nike Dunks, right? They were all white. I had some new jeans. I was like, we're going to party today, right? So me and Jonathan were taking out the last stuff. And Jonathan has two hands.
I do have two hands. That's correct.
No. He had two things of paint, right, in his hands. One of the paints was orange, like neon orange.
Yeah.
Anyways, he threw one over. I was standing there throwing stuff.
Into the dumpster.
And then he tries to throw the orange one. The lid pops open.
And it
splashes all over my new white kicks.
No.
And I was
and
like,
all over the alleyway too. Yeah.
and
everywhere.
Jonathan, you should have seen Jonathan's face. He looked at me. His face was so red. But for me, I'm the type, if I like kicks, I'll buy 2 pairs of the same thing. So I had already another pair at home. So I wasn't too worried about it. I kind of felt bad that Jonathan felt bad.
It was the last straw of a terrible
I know,
experience.
and there was all this orange on my pants and his pants and on the street. So I tried to wipe it up. I did the best I can. I didn't take it too hard. I mean, I could have been mad at anyone else, but I couldn't get mad at
and then we got into our truck. We drove off into the sunset back into the valley, and we never went back to the studio again.
Good.
You had one less hubcap though.
Yeah, like 2 days before we left that area, someone stole my center caps on my wheels.
Yeah,
What
just
a
one.
terrible week.
Just
I was
one.
2 days from retirement.
Just one. They should have took both. At least made it.
But
even.
anyway,
Right?
that's the long story as to
Yeah, yeah.
why I'm carrying
So-
a paint bucket in my hand. here.
These were lovely and thoughtful gifts, whereas I brought the boys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle beer.
This is my
this is
my turtle
beer.
soup. It's turtle soup. That's all
It's
is.
turtle soup. It's turtle soup. Candy canes, and I did make cookies, but that was almost a month ago, and
Yeah. So
they're dead now.
So basically, it's good to see you guys.
it's good to see you guys.
So let's do this. I
Yeah,
mean, we're gonna
and
try
it's so
to.
good to have you guys here too with us because we can't do this show without you. So thank you so much for being here. While you're here, you can always subscribe to us on YouTube or this is meant to be a podcast, so subscribe to us over wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all those good things, and leave us a review if you want to. Look at those stars. Look at that. Let's get that 4.7 up a little bit higher.
To 4.8.
It's gonna go down to
4.8, and then
4.6.
stop. I want us to stay humble. If we have a 5, oh my gosh.
Yeah, then exactly.
We'd be absolutely hideous monsters who you couldn't deal with. All right. Well, with all that down, guys, we are going to get into some movie news with you. First up, we have a new trailer, the first trailer, I believe, for Lisa Frankenstein, which is a weirdly delightful, messed up looking movie starring Catherine Newton. You might remember Catherine Newton from Quantumania, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. She also, of course, was on Supernatural. That's how I came to know her. And she's a fabulous actress, despite the problems I had with Quantumania. She's really, really wonderful and lovely. She's also in Freaky, which is a great, great, fun horror comedy. So this kind of lives in that vein, too. It's from Diablo Cody. It's set in the 1980s. And we have this kind of gothic 80s girl who is in love with this monument to some guy who died back in the Gothic
I don't know if
days.
he's a composer or a writer.
Something. It's hard to glean from the trailer.
Which there she is, pining after her stone lover.
You know, like you do.
This is Focus Features. I believe is releasing this.
Oh,
Yeah, it
nice.
is Focus.
And it's got also from Riverdale, Cole Sprouse. So we've got, or is it Cole or is it Dylan? Let me double check that.
Is he playing him?
It's Cole Sprouse.
Yeah.
I was right the first time. I shouldn't have doubted. And so he's playing the creature in this. He comes to life, sees Catherine Newton, and what seems like a very cute kind of warm bodies, right?
At first,
Rom-com.
yeah.
Yeah,
First half of the
I was going to
trailer.
say, I thought this was going to be a little bit of warm bodies rom-com, and then it kind of takes a dark turn, right?
Yeah.
So,
I really like when we were talking off camera, you brought Heathers into the mix here.
yeah, so I was saying it's like Warm Bodies meets Heathers.
Yeah.
With a touch of Mean Girls.
With a little bit of Natural Born Killers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's...
Because then they start finding body
But
parts.
very 80s.
Very 80s.
So if you're into that, Stranger Things vibe, obviously it's going to be more tongue-in-cheek. It's a little sillier, but yeah.
But I think it looks promising. It could be real. It's Diablo Cody, whose writing I really enjoy, and I like when she does horror. I really love Megan's Body. I think that movie's fabulous.
I was of two minds on this. So, like, at first I was like, okay, well, it's kind of a silly rom-com, and as trailers often do, a lot of the jokes are right on the nose, and they edit it for that beat. In the movie, it's going to have a different rhythm, I'm sure.
For sure.
But once it took that dark tone, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm getting a little bit, like I said, a little Heathers here,
Yeah.
and then you said Natural Born Killers. I got to see maybe one more trailer, but this looks like it could be pretty interesting.
This trailer sold me already, I think. I haven't seen a movie like this in a long time from what I remember, like with this sort of tone. I'm going to probably see this. I mean, it shouldn't be that long of a movie, I don't think.
I would
Nah.
imagine, yeah. This
Look
is
at
going
that
to be like a
devilish
$1.45.
grin.
Yeah. I thought she was going to actually give him a shower, and then he's going to be like this prince.
Well, we haven't
Like,
seen the whole
I thought
movie
it was going
yet.
to be one
That
of
could
those.
still happen. We still don't know about all those body
Yeah,
parts.
we haven't seen all. Yeah, we don't know what body parts he's getting either. It
In
might
the
get
trailer-
real interesting.
Yeah, in the
Ruh-roh.
trailer, as soon as he hacks that guy, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, this is
'Cause
kind of cold,
I
man.
was smiling, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty charming.
They do preface it like they're just some like really bad people out there, but
Right.
yeah, I don't know. Still, I don't
and at the end, she
condone the
kind of
hacking of limbs
Yeah.
for a already dead man. But,
You
or
shouldn't
for
murder
anyone.
bullies. You should, you shouldn't.
We
So
can teach
this-
them lessons in other ways that don't
Exactly.
include
You
death.
don't have to hack them to death.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this comes out February 9th, so that's not
coming
too
up.
far
Little
away.
Valentine's Day show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Valentine's. It's marketed that way.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Dark.
delightful. I'm excited about it. But guys, let us know what you think. Hit us up in the comments and tell us whether or not this looks like a fun movie for you or if you were going to pass on Lisa Frankenstein. Let us know. All right, with that down. Now, there's been a lot of talk about what is and is not canon in Marvel, especially because we've had so many different things, so many different studios, starting and stopping, multiverses, all kinds of nonsense. Well, according to the Direct, we have some confirmation that Daredevil is in fact canon from the Netflix series. And this is really great news for everybody who loved this series, myself included. I really, really enjoy it. I am interested to see how this all pans out, though. Let's head down to this quote here we've got. So, this is from,
Right here.
from Brad Whitbaum.
Yeah.
There we go. So I can say we've been, up until this point, we've been a little bit cagey about what is and isn't on the sacred timeline. That was born of, frankly, a period at the studio where we were like, we have to stick the landing with the Avengers. It was another part of the company developing the Netflix stuff. We were aware of what they were doing. They were aware of what we were doing, but it was a lot. It was a lot of balance anyway. But now that some time has passed, now that we see actually how well integrated the stories are, I think that I, personally, Brad Winterbaum, would be confident, would be confident in saying it is part of the sacred timeline. So that is some good news here. If you are really, really into this show, and if you really enjoyed that iteration by Charlie Cox, especially since he is continuing on, I'm interested to see how other people within the Marvel Universe weigh in on this. Because really, it comes down to Feige, right?
I was going to say, this is confirmation-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because unless it comes from the big dog, I don't know. I mean, what was he doing a moment where, he's kind of like gritting his teeth as he's reading this quote?
Yeah.
Or was he like, did he sanction this quote?
Well, and I love the specificity of I, Brad Winterbaum,
Yeah.
I alone.
What if
believe.
he just talks like that normally?
I hope so. I hope he orders stuff and he's like, I, Brad Winterbaum, would like a chicken piccata.
Oh, I was going to say like a Big Mac or something.
Oh, there you
like
go.
that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I didn't need to know your name, but thank you.
But thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
Well, wasn't there? I didn't watch the Netflix Daredevil all the way through. I think I just finished season 1. There was something with the Kingpin, right, where he didn't seem to be the same Kingpin, right? There was a little discussion that was going on with that.
Well, we saw a different Kingpin from the Netflix series in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is where we saw Echo for the first time.
So is he talking in general of everyone in Daredevil or just Daredevil himself? Like, is that...
He's saying that show's canon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always thought too, and I know we have had, this is a different version of the Kingpin. I always really liked the headcanon that this was a Kingpin who was so negatively affected by the snap. Right? So we already, if we have Netflix's canon, we saw his whole empire crumble. We saw everything go away. Where is Vanessa? Where is everyone? Right? So then the snap happens and he has absolutely nothing, no connections. So then that's when he becomes more of this Hawaiian shirt wearing
That makes sense.
schmuck.
That
Right?
makes
Who has
sense.
to
Him and
build
Hulk
the
should get
empire
together.
again. I bet they go to the same barbecues. They for sure shop at the same store. Big and tall and Hawaiian.
I would like a hot dog, please.
As much as people love that the Daredevil's series, do you think this is a good idea for them to continue on with that Daredevil, or should he be a little bit more super powered like in the comics, like you know what I mean?
Well,
like
you know
to
what?
match up with Spider-Man.
What's interesting is in the quote he says this goes back to Avengers and they just weren't sure because Avengers had to stick the landing, and I believe that at the time, but I don't believe that throughout all this time it's been about the Avengers.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, the tone was different. And now we're seeing in this Echo, the tone seems to be a little bit back to the Netflix, right?
Up that violence factor.
And so now they're able to say, oh, yeah, it's canon. Now, the people, like Foggy and all of them, are they recast? If they're recasting, but they're still playing the same characters with the same experiences, then absolutely I could say, yes, this is definitely sacred timeline.
Sure.
But if suddenly they're like, different experiences, different, you know what I mean? It's
we
not
meet
sacred.
Foggy all of a sudden or
Yeah.
something, then it's not the same case.
Yeah.
And to your point, Ray, I think the show did a really good job on Netflix showing that kind of idea of not quite echolocation, but essentially echolocation, of having very heightened senses, the smell, being able to see but not really see in a traditional sense. I don't know how that kind of scales up with some of the other powers.
Right.
But I've always loved boots on the ground characters.
Yeah, me too. But then in a way, I think it would be cool just to see him scaling these skyscrapers and like jumping down to another, like in the comics.
in She-Hulk.
Is going to see exactly. That's great because in She-Hulk, we see this iteration.
Yeah.
And I mean, he literally flies over, and that's a 4-story building, structure.
Yeah, that's
So,
not your typical
I don't know
parkour.
about you, but my knees can't take that impact.
No.
My knees would end up like 100 yards
My knees
outside
are
of me.
36 years old.
So
they
they
can't
showed
do
a little
much.
bit of that in She-Hulk.
In She-Hulk, but now,
okay.
but now here when we see like these shots from the Echo trailer, he's back in his red suit. He looks a lot more like the Netflix Daredevil.
Yeah.
Here's another shot of him from the second trailer or third trailer that came out in Echo. Also, I know he's in this trailer, but guys, don't expect to see a lot of Daredevil in this. Like, I don't want people to get their hopes up and he's like in a one episode arc again, like in,
I honestly am just kind of putting my expectation of like, let's set it below thinking that somebody like Thanos was going to be in the Marvels.
Let's set it below.
Like,
do I think I even care?
Yeah.
And then if I do care, then it's great.
If he's there, Lovely. I
Yeah.
love that kind of tie-in. But I kind of almost want it to be in the same way that he showed up in No Way Home. I want him just to pop in, pop out, so it's a shared universe.
It kind of looks like a flashback, anyways, from the trailer. I mean, I think it's always good to see. I've seen enough of Daredevil from season 1 where I do get happy when I see Charlie Cox on the screen. You know, like with playing this character.
Yeah.
I thought they shouldn't recast him. It's perfect that they went with him again. It'll be good to see what he does. I mean, they're rewriting the Daredevil thing, right? They're rebooting or
Yeah, it seems like it's
whatever.
under pretty heavy rewrite.
Let's hope they do it right. I mean, let's hope Blade comes out too. We got another guy that's on the boots on the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's hope all this comes together. It's been a rough year for Marvel.
For sure. Well, and
Yeah,
I
it
also,
has.
I just, if we do continue with Tom Holland, we know that is a clean slate kind of situation too. And Spidey's going to go back to being
Your
a
friendly
friendly neighborhood
neighborhood.
character.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And I like
like
that.
that.
I like when we have the different characters from the boroughs, right?
Right.
I love when we have our Queens guy, our Hell's Kitchen guy. I think that's a really, really fun dynamic when we have local and global superheroes.
And then you
And not every time.
add Fantastic Four to that.
Yeah.
In that whole area right there.
Well, they could be a link between the two,
For sure.
So
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Guys, let us know what you think. Do you truly believe this is Netflix's Daredevil part of the sacred timeline, or is this just one person's opinion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, all right? All right, and with that down, we've got some other Marvel news here. Now, this came out a few days ago, but now the actor is speaking on it. Stephen Yeun had stepped away from Marvel's Thunderbolts. He was set to play Sentry, and he had walked away recently. I believe this news first broke on the 2nd or 3rd.
I think it was a second.
Yeah, but now he's spoken to Variety about his departure, and our little article here comes from Forbes. But he was saying that really what it came down to was the SAG-AFTRA strike and some timing here. Stephen Yeun says, I think for me, time passing and things shifting kind of pulled me out of it. But director Jake Schreier, I know is going to do an incredible job. It took a lot of drafts on emails to make sure that I conveyed the sincerity of how sorry I was to have to back out. He goes on to say, I want to do a Marvel movie. I think it's too early to say that. I probably pissed off too many people leaving, so I'm just going to say, thank you for having me. I have some ideas, but I heard if you put it out there, you'll never get it, so I'll keep it close to my chest. So Stephen Yeun chose to walk away, and I think this is a very diplomatic response to why. And I think he does a great job here of making sure he's not burning any bridges, but accepting that he might have.
Yeah.
I think this is a very, very wonderful, mature, and well put together response here. How do you guys feel about
because
it?
that is Sentry. That is a big character.
Well,
You
to
know,
me.
no, but I mean, even like, well,
Right.
it's going to be a pivotal character
Yeah.
in Thunderbolts, but it is even in the comics right now, or the last, I don't know, maybe 15 years
Yeah.
or so. So it's not like he got a side part,
No.
and also
Big, super powered guy.
also just some empathy for him. That can't be easy to back down from something like that. The amount of pressure.
Especially, he was talking about, like, okay, I'm going to be honest here. Like, it took me a little bit to get on board with him playing the Sentry just because of what I saw,
Yeah, what you
what I thought. But you know what? As soon as when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? The Sentry is going to be on screen. I don't care. Like, and so I'm on board with him, and it just breaks my heart that he has to leave, because the way they're describing him, like talking about the suit that they had made for him, how he was talking to the director or something, and he was super excited about it. I was like, wow, that got me more excited for this. So it kind of sucks.
It was an interesting take for sure. I mean, Michael Gonzalez, I have him up on screen, says Ryan Gosling as Sentry. I think, Ray, weren't you saying there was like a rumor mill about Ryan Gosling?
There's been talks. I don't know if it's been confirmed,
but nothing official. I mean, that's rumor mill.
But let's go on. Let's say he is confirmed to be the Sentry. That's a good pick too. I mean, it's a completely different actor, like as in what they do. But I'll be on board. Just put the Sentry on screen.
Well, and all you really need here, and I say all you really need, the look does not matter.
Yeah,
the aesthetic does not
yeah.
matter.
No.
You need a really strong, capable actor, because Sentry first starts out as a drug addict.
Yeah.
And then moves on to be this very troubled hero who has to deal with a lot of mental anguish, one because of their past choices, and then also because of the introduction of the Void.
Yeah.
So there's so much there.
And when I thought of that, I was like, Stephen Yeun is going to kick ass as a Sentry. Like, he could play that.
He would have
And
been
Ryan
amazing.
Gosling could too.
Sure.
But Ryan Gosling really boost the budget of that then, because
Yeah.
the price tag to get Ryan Gosling right now, especially off of Barbie and everything.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, he's starring in his Stuntman movie, and I mean,
Is
He's
this
real
supposed to
hot
come
right
out
now.
this year? Do we know if Thunderbolts?
well,
Was
Thunderbolts is scheduled for 2025.
2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they've got some time to cast, but they better get on it. I'm sure they had a second choice and whatever. You know,
And-
it was a
and-
fallback.
Sure, yeah.
And do you think this has any effect from Marvel having to scrap things where they're rearranging stuff? Obviously, they've moved dates. Probably it probably moved into the schedule, right? Like,
Very possibly. So I've got a source at Disney and who is working specifically in the Marvel department. And they've talked a lot about just really focusing on quality and making sure that everything is being done in a very, very high quality way now. We've got that with the introduction of showrunners, right, for the
Yes.
actual shows, which is huge and wild.
And
that
we're
they weren't doing
already
that
seeing
before.
a difference.
Exactly. And I think doing this, as much as I would love to have several movie events a year,
Right.
I would so rather go see excellent films once or twice a year in this universe
Yeah.
rather than get inundated with kind of
right.
meh.
And
Well,
to-
because it did eventually affect the quality.
It did.
So at first we were spoiled with like great quality MCU content. So we're like, yes, and the actors are going to be playing their roles on Disney Plus, and this is amazing. And it got out of the gate really well with WandaVision, but you
Yeah.
know, it was hit and miss. We've talked about it to death. But,
Oh, absolutely.
And then we got so many movies in there that we just thought, oh well, that quality is just Feige can do no wrong. And it's like, well, you get overwhelmed, and it hit the quality.
You really
so.
do. And I
you know.
understood the strategy of they didn't want there to be a time period where there was not a Marvel product out.
Yeah.
And I get that. You want it to be part of the zeitgeist constantly, especially in this current binge culture. But because of that, we all essentially data dump.
Well,
we see a show and then
yes.
we forget about
and
it.
and we're getting all this content that isn't linking up, and it's frustrating the audience.
Yes.
and the last thing about Stephen Yeun, he doesn't want to put himself in a place like Mahershala Ali has, where he's promising this block of time and they're not ready yet, and so he's skipping a lot of projects to actually play this part. I don't think anything is worth that much of like where you want your career going. I want to see him on screen again. So yeah, that's the last thing he wants to happen is like be just sitting there waiting. You know,
He's got a super hot career.
right?
I mean, just off the Fresh Tales of Beef, you know. I mean, he's got very, very sought after. You don't want to be locked in.
Yeah.
We've had other actors talk about it, Elizabeth Olsen, you know, where yes, this is a great opportunity, but it does keep you from other opportunities.
Right.
So
If this was
that
something
delay.
that was about to start shooting or was, you know what I mean, and
If
it's
it was a
coming out in
Deadpool.
2024, that's different. I
Yeah.
think he would have gone for it. But 25, and now he's got, you know. So yeah.
It's understandable. But guys, do you find it to be understandable? Are you disappointed that Stephen Yeun has left? Does it make sense to you? Let us know your thoughts on that. All right, guys, before we continue on with today's show, we are just going to take a quick break to thank the sponsors of this show, the good folks over at Mint Mobile.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
And thank you once again to Mint Mobile. Guys, go check them out. Go lower your phone bills. Go support that adorable little Mint Fox. We love them. Thanks. All right, with that all out of the way, we are on to some other news fresh from Deadline today. Looks like late night writers are going to keep their category. So there was a little bit of a kerfuffle back in late 2023, back in November. Folks were thinking of getting rid of the key writing category, at least not having it as part of the primetime awards show. It's going to be a
Right.
creative enemy, so that would be its own separate thing. Well, the WGA really pushed its writers, its members, and other folks to push on this and say how disappointed they are with this choice. And it looks like they are getting their way on it. We are keeping the key category in the Primetime Awards on Fox. Now, this comes to us from Deadline. Basically, the TV Academy, Fox, and the WGA have reached an agreement to include the Outstanding Writing for Variety Series category, which also includes nominees like Late Night with Seth Meyers, Saturday Night Live during the telecast. The TV Academy, which runs the Emmys. Whoops. The TV Academy, which runs the Emmys, set to air on Fox on January 15th, had previously stated that the award for Outstanding Writing for Variety Series was set to be handed out at the Creative Arts Emmys rather than during the primetime show, and it had been replaced by Outstanding Variety Special in November. So a whole bunch of people, including Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, John Oliver, Jon Stewart, a ton of folks really, really pushed to have this category as part of the primetime lineup. And I think it's the right move. Like, fresh off of the writer's strike being
Yeah, it does seem a
resolved
little
in
raw.
November, it was
Yeah.
really messed up.
Yeah.
I thought that was such an odd choice. And I think, too, so many of those shows in particular, writing is always the foundation of everything, I feel. And for late night, we really felt the impact when writers were not allowed to,
Oh, yeah.
pop
Not to
in
mention,
there.
you had almost like walk-off. Well, you did have walk-offs because they threatened to just do the show without WGA writers.
We had that with the Drew Barrymore show.
Yeah.
We had that with
yeah.
several shows.
Yeah.
And then you had folks like Seth Meyers who just made a point to talk ad nauseum about how incredible his writing staff was while he was on air.
Yeah.
And you really felt their absence. So I'm really happy to see that they're included in here. Guys, do you think this is the right move? Do you think they should have kept it out and put it on the creative Emmys and just not shown it? What do you think?
So this is a move to actually put the award on television.
On
as well.
television.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it there. 'cause
But
they
it
were
was
gonna yoink
always
it.
there.
It's not
But
a
that
the
award was always
the
there.
Oscars do it
Yeah.
with technical awards. It's not a technical award.
Yeah.
And I feel like, the shows that they're on are as big of a footprint on at least network television as any of these other shows.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, I do think it's right. I think they'll have to keep their acceptance speeches to a minimum.
Yeah, that
You know,
music is going to
they're
play real
probably gonna
fast.
get played real quick. But yeah, I thought it was interesting too. It mentions in that article that they can't collect royalties for any of the scenes that they wrote if they use it in clips on the Emmys. As part of a kind of a financial, like, well, we're gonna take a little cut in your pay then.
Yeah.
In order to get you.
Just a little dig there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get your award on air, but don't you get anything else.
You ain't getting any royalties for the clips we use.
And it's just one award. It's not like they were asked. It's just a small part of the show. I mean, we need to value these writers a lot more than we do. I mean, and this will show that we do value them and put them, at least some parts of it, like on a show that awards TV. And
I mean, if you just follow that logic, right? They're WGA writers. They should be respected along with their peers as what they do.
Yeah.
WGA writers. Otherwise, it's like, well, then this could just be, non-union operations.
Yeah.
Then if you guys aren't even going to respect it,
Well, and
so
half the people who write for these late night shows end up writing for these award shows.
of course.
So
That's another thing I was thinking. I thought the same thing. I'm like, so then actually, could the Emmys nominate themselves for best writing?
just, we did great. We
Yeah.
loved us. So
yeah,
they
we need those
absolutely could.
writers. They make shows better. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think recognition goes a long, long way. So I feel like this is a step in the right direction. But obviously, it's up to you guys. Do you think this belonged at the Creative Daytime Emmys? Do you think it should have been off there? Or do you think them being televised on the Primetime Award show makes more sense? Let us know your thoughts. All right, now here is the big story, you guys. And this is filled with a lot of speculation, a lot of coulda, woulda, woulda, shoulda. Paramount might be up for sale. And we don't know who's going to end up with the keys to the castle here. And this is a historic studio. I mean, I think about that opening, right, where you see the stars and everything go over it. I usually also then think of how Sonic changed it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so
This.
iconic. Yes. The first time I got to go to this studio, I lost my mind. I felt like I finally made it.
It's this is we had mentioned this earlier, like a couple weeks ago. It feels so long ago, but Paramount feels. I've been to pretty much all of the lots, but Paramount does feel, because it is in Hollywood and it's got this like Spanish style, like old school Hollywood feel. You feel like you're in that, like, I'm ready for my close up, Mr. Mr.
Oh,
DeMille. Like,
absolutely.
you feel like you're in old Hollywood at Paramount. Warner Brothers is a great studio. Disney's a great studio too.
DreamWorks is nice.
But you still feel like it's not that, like, what would how do I put it? It just doesn't feel like that Hollywood studio like Paramount does.
This is what MGM Studios at Disney promised me.
Yes.
Is that kind of aesthetic.
And this is what they kind of like ripped
Yeah.
off of, you know what I mean? They didn't rip off of their studio.
No.
There's some amazing spots of Disney, like his office and like just like that old original entryway there, and it's cool. It's like old Burbank history, but
Yeah.
you're right.
We used to pass by this every day on our drive home from that studio.
Well, yeah, you could see Paramount from the roof of our building.
The only time and the first time I went to Paramount was with John. We saw Thor 1, early screening of Thor 1.
Ooh.
Ended up being a great movie. I mean, it's a beautiful studio. I mean, as old as it is, it's a beautiful studio.
Yeah.
It's really, really stunning. Well, in recent years, the studio itself has run into some financial issues. A lot of this does come down to the streamer itself, Paramount Plus, losing money because, Paramount had some really great years, especially because of the Sonic franchise. Personal favorite at CinemaCon. They always know how to throw a party.
Oh,
they
yeah,
always know
they're
how to
great.
do stuff. They had TMNT this year, Mutant Mayhem.
If you go to CinemaCon, don't miss the Paramount presentation.
It's
They
so
always
good.
do the audience.
Although-
right. It's always great.
I don't know how many CinemaCons do
Yeah,
Paramount, but
that
it's
might
going to be a
true.
subdivision, so you still will get a presentation, I think.
That's very, very true. So there's a lot of people, though, in the mix for who could go ahead and grab Paramount. So we're just going to kind of run down the usual suspects here real quickly. So obviously, decision's going to go down to Shari Redstone here. She's the president and CEO of National Amusements and a non-executive chair of Paramount Global. So Paramount is under that umbrella
Right.
there. So she will have final say in this, along with, I believe, the rest of the chair people.
Well,
when they do
the
vote.
board, yeah.
So she's going to decide on who this goes to. And this is a familial business, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is, yeah. She inherited that from her father. I think what's interesting about this, just real quickly, is that because you mentioned streaming, well, Paramount happens to be at a valuation of $1 billion right now. National Amusements Inc. has debt upwards of $1 billion. Now they were paying
Oh.
off that debt by income streams from Paramount. But when Paramount decided to go heavy into streaming and that tap of cash started to dissipate, old Sherry Redstone here started to think, well, you're kind of biting the hand that feeds me, I feel, because now I can't pay my company's debt, and this is what I was funneling it from. You know what I mean? So that kind of sets the stage for what is happening here.
Absolutely. And I feel like this is a cautionary tale, too, for every other company that has a streaming service right now, because we have not seen many of them actually have any profit when it comes down to it. It's mostly a kind of sinkhole for money. So this is something I think that regardless if people want to buy in, they're going to be following it. So we've got Shari Redstone. Now we also have David Ellison and Jerry Cardinal. Now these guys are the CEOs of Skydance Media. So they are already kind of involved with Paramount and everything. Now, it makes sense for them to partner with them because they have partnered with them in other films in the past. Star Trek.
Tentpoles, yeah.
Top Gun, too.
Top Gun, Transformers, those
Mission
kind of
Impossible.
big name. Yeah, all of their big
Literally all the
blockbuster
things you already associate now with Paramount.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all really kind of Skydance.
Yeah.
So this move would make a lot of sense. It just kind of matters, too, if they want to go absolutely whole hog in here.
Right.
I'm not sure if these are the guys to do it, too. Because I think Skydance really thrives partnering. I don't know if they want to be the absolute kings
the
of the castle.
executives.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know if that's going to be their jam, especially because Skydance then also gets away with doing some weird, wacky stuff with like Robert Kirkland and everybody. We also then have David Zaslav
Bearing his axe.
bearing his axe, going to grab Paramount. This one financially makes sense. I
Yeah.
could see him doing this. This also makes sense with all of the choices that Zaslav has made up until now. That all being said, y'all know that I am not as enamored with Zaslav and
What?
Iger and all these guys. I have only seen this man destroy, really, at this point.
Well, if Warner Brothers were to absorb Paramount, there's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs. Whereas
100%.
the other way around, like if we had that pair,
Skydance.
they need those people. So you will get that axe a swinging if if
WB grabs it, yeah.
Yeah, takes over.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm really enjoying my $3.99 per month Paramount Plus. I better be ready to say goodbye to that value, right?
Yeah, but I
might
mean,
have to
if
buy into something.
if WB gets it, then that content is on Max. Max,
Yeah, but
as they say
I'm
on
not worried
Stranger
about.
Things.
I'm worried about the $3.99
Yeah.
because Max ain't $3.99.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been locked
Unless
into
you're on
that.
the Campea deal.
Yeah.
then
No,
it's
no, no, no.
$3.99.
Paramount is one that I actually pulled my wallet out.
No, you're like you are a
I'm very picky. I have Apple and Paramount.
no,
That's
but
it.
you're I would say you are like almost and this isn't like a bad way, but you're almost a cheerleader for those two streamers because you appreciate the content so much.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
value. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. I mean, I watched
Absolutely.
Paw Patrol, and I actually like.
We'll leave it there.
Paw Patrol. No. Okay. I was on there, and I said, what should I watch? I put on Paw Patrol just the first 30 seconds. I was like, okay, they got me. And then I tried Good Burger the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I'm still getting there. I haven't finished it. We'll
You
see.
don't have to force it, you know.
No, because come on.
Logan
One
loves
one
Good
thing
Burger.
that is interesting about the Zaslav take is that he has his eyes on CBS.
Yes.
So because ABC is owned by Disney, which we've heard. Okay, I feel like over the past year we've heard, oh, they want to get rid of ABC, and now it's like, no, we like ABC because streaming isn't as strong as we thought.
Yeah.
So they have ABC, obviously, NBC Universal. So Universal has NBC. Warner Brothers would then have CBS. So that's also,
Very interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of franchises I care about that whoever buys them and whoever they better take care of them, please.
And yeah, that's my big concern here is just we've seen Zaslav and WB in particular just sell off things or liquidate them. And that is something that I do find concerning about that purchase. But obviously, if they are the highest bidders, that's who everyone's going to go with. Also involved in here is Bob Backish. Now, this is the CEO of Paramount Global.
Yeah.
Most of the IP involved here, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, SpongeBob SquarePants, Paw Patrol, and South Park.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How could I forget South Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, right before Thanksgiving, before Zaslav had his meeting with everybody, before rumors of Skydance were involved, Paramount was saying that this guy was going to kind of deal with everything.
Yeah.
The company reveled in a securities filing that Bob Backish now has a change in control severance protection plan, colloquially known as a golden parachute, which would pay out in the event of a sale of the company. The disclosure fueled speculation that Paramount and Redstone were thinking of their options. So this was another one of our kind of red flags of something was amiss at Paramount.
Yeah. And this guy with his golden parachute, he'll get paid out.
Oh, handsomely.
They'll have to that's part of that. So he'll get the sum of the remainder of his contract.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
get to
he's
just,
set.
go boogie on a yacht.
Yeah. So then that brings us to the strategist.
John Malone, the strategist. All right, so he is the chairman of Liberty Media and a board member of WBD, excuse me, worth $10 billion, according to Forbes, known as the cable cowboy. Woot woot. Now, in the media
He
landscape.
kind of looks like John Houston from Chinatown right
Oh,
now,
I can
too.
see that.
Is that what?
Oh my gosh.
Is that the chant that cowboys make? You woo woo.
Woot woot. This is
Yeah.
why they didn't let me keep living in Texas. They were like, no, Chris, try better, try harder. So he is known for his aggressive M&A strategies in the telecom space and for his public fights with the FCC. Fun. I'm here for it.
Oh, yeah.
I love this. So nowadays, he may be best known for owning more than 3,000 square miles of land in 9 states, including Colorado, which is where he lives, and for his love of tax avoidance strategy.
Yeah.
Which
Tax avoidance,
is-
baby.
Yeah.
This rundown is fantastic. I love how just petty this person is
I know.
being with
Did we switch
everybody.
pages to America's Most Wanted page?
It's
Or I feel like it's
finance
like
meets TMZ.
or I kind of feel like it's Clue, but like financial Clue.
Yeah. It's great. We're getting dirt on
It's
everybody.
gonna be Morris in the study with the lead pipe. Yeah.
He is a major shareholder in WBD and a mentor and advisor to Zaslav.
Right.
So that is probably who's talking in Zaslav's ear about this potential purchase and everything.
He's the one who gave the blessing to Warner Media and Discovery. So
Exactly.
yeah, he's very influential. It's not just like he's like a advisor that we listen to sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like the Godfather.
He's the 82-year-old Littlefinger.
Yeah.
It's gonna become a longer name. It's gonna be WBDP. I guess WDP.
It's just all the acronyms. Warner Mouse something.
But they bring up here this reverse Morris trust transaction. All right, this is a little out of my pay grade, but what's interesting about this is that if Warner Brothers wants to hold on to those tax shelters that they were able to do through their acquisitions, they can't make any more major deals until April. So So this has to go on until April, which is not that far off. But if there's other suitors in the meantime, if they want to save on that money, the tax money, they got to wait till April.
So this does have a bit of a ticking time clock here.
A little bit. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And Paramount has some releases this year too. Some big release. Sonic 3, I believe, comes out in December.
It does. Well, and there's supposed to be a whole Sonic cinematic universe now. There's going to be a Knuckles show, all kinds of stuff.
I hope none of this affects any of those things that are. I'm not losing sight of like mergers. Like all I think about is yes, I get more of the stuff in one place, but I'm not losing sight on all the people losing their jobs.
Sure.
Which really, really sucks. I mean, so I mergers sometimes are great, but in the long for those people, it's not a good time.
That's always the scary part here. I think their big tentpole properties are safe here because those are the moneymakers, right? Those are the kind of crown jewels within this Paramount sale. Yeah. So Sonic and those sort of things should be fine, but absolutely it does come down to the actual people who have been making these products that could be left behind in any form of merger.
Come on, Transformers, let's get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's find a new, better home.
Well, maybe they will make it better. Who knows?
That's the hope. That's the hope. So we also have Brian Roberts here. He's the CEO and chairman of Comcast. Now he is worth $2.1 billion.
Billion.
It just felt right.
Why
was
we
really
turn into
nice.
NBA Jam
It
right
was
now?
really nicely done. Brian Roberts took over his father's regional cable system and turned it into a 175 billion cable and content behemoth. In a world where Paramount, WBD, and NBC Universal are seen as subscale compared to Netflix, Disney, and Amazon, NBCU has one thing going for it: Comcast and its endless cash flow. Now, Comcast is deep, deep pockets.
Yeah.
And I could see this one happening as well. Comcast has a lot of different things happening. They've been acquiring video game companies. Obviously, Peacock has had its struggles. Obviously, NBC Universal has had its struggles. But they have those deep, deep pockets, and I think they could keep acquiring really, really easily. Just be a flash in the pan for them. That's a Tuesday purchase.
This led me to the question, though, because obviously they control NBC. Now, is CBS... Now, I know that Amusement Inc. owns CBS as well, but is that also under Paramount? So if Paramount gets sold, does CBS get sold as well? Does Amusement hold on to CBS? Can Comcast, can NBC Universal own CBS? That I looked up some FCC rules, and it says that the dual network ownership rule here is that the major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, cannot be merged. So they can't merge NBC and CBS, but I haven't gotten a clear answer on whether you can own two. You cannot control stations, local stations that are competing depending on the size of the market. So if they were to absorb CBS, they'd have to divulge a lot of stations across America.
Yeah.
So they may not even want that mess. So
That's very
it could be that
messy.
CBS is not even on the chopping block. It's only Paramount. But at first I was like, oh, wow, of course they'd want to absorb that, but I don't think they can.
Man, the morning show lied to me. They were like, yeah, you can just merge news networks. That's fine.
No.
You learn something every day.
So, but what's interesting about this guy as well is that Deep Pockets Man is also friends with our next suspect.
Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. Oh my goodness. Good old Nebraskan kid. I only know so much about this man because that's where my husband's from. So he is the founder of Berkshire Hathaway, and he has so much money.
His longtime partner, Charlie Munger, just recently died.
Oh,
He was
I
like
didn't know
99,
that.
I
Oh
think,
my
yeah.
gosh. Nice long life for Charlie. He has a net worth of 120 billion.
Billion.
There it is. And he has...
What are we doing?
I don't know. It's a weird day back. This is just us trying our best.
I just got my turtle soup over here. Don't mind
You're
me.
doing great. He has the largest economic stake in Paramount.
Yes.
This
Oh,
is
wow.
very, very important.
20%.
So we were talking earlier about how some people are going to be fine with their golden parachutes. This is a really great opportunity for Warren to run away, honestly. He's going to want this sale to be very, very, very big because otherwise he has the potential to lose quite a bit of money here with a share that large. So he's also got a very vested interest in everything that's going down here.
Yeah.
I know how he
But
feels.
what's interesting, and the reason why I mentioned that old Brian Roberts is friends with old Warren Buffett is this right here. Let me bring it up. Or this is talking about Roberts. Or he could play spoiler using his company's fire hose of cash, just as he did with Disney's $71 billion Fox acquisition, which Comcast bid up before focusing on Sky assets. Roberts could jump in, or at least try to bid it up so that it hurts the buyer. And who would benefit but the 20% stockholder of Paramount if that bidding were to skyrocket past $1 billion.
Mr. Warren Buffett would be able to live it out like Jimmy Buffett, just kicking it off, toes in the
So
sand.
I think these two may be, wrong shot. These two may be in a little cahoots that,
collusion.
a little. They're not the actual buyers. He's helping this guy here,
Well, it's
I
a
will
strong
say-
strategy up that bidding war.
I don't know anything about Warren Buffett, but I do love his last name.
because
I
it
like
sounds
it when
like
it's
buffet.
pronounced a little different. Yeah.
Because it sounds like
when
buffet, Ray.
When it's Warren Buffet.
Buffet Ray. There we go.
Buffet Ray with crab leg.
Oh, I miss those
So
crab
when it
legs.
comes down to it, I think it's not those two so much, but
I feel like those
I
two are
think
going to
it's
help each
all
other out.
leading to John Malone and our friend David Zaslav for
Who?
WBD.
I think so.
Well, the question that runs in my head, I don't know mostly who's gonna take care of the things I love. Which one of these people?
Oh, none of
is
them.
none of them.
Yeah,
Ah,
none of them.
They will take care of the money, but none of your love. None of those things.
yeah.
We've got a lot of players here, though, folks. So let us know, who do you think is going to kind of take Paramount for when it is properly up for sale? Do you think we're going to have a big bidding war? Are we at risk for losing a lot of beloved IP? What could happen here? Let us know your thoughts.
Yep.
All right. Now, with all that down, we're going to get into some listener questions, some member questions, all
That's
kinds of
right.
good stuff.
Yep.
Let's
So
go
I'll
right
do a
on
little
over.
reading for you today, Chris. Since you're
Thank you.
our wonderful host.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Robert Pruser. Remember, guys, super chats are open. Jacob Elordi should play Terry McGinnis if they make a Batman Beyond movie within 3 years. He's got the build of already and looks like him.
He does look like him. I can see that. But Jacob Elordi also turned down Superman.
Yeah.
And I still stand by, I don't know if he was talking about how dark the script was or how dark it can be living a life that public connected to a superhero. That's kind of how I read it when it first came out. I don't imagine Superman from James Gunn is going to be an incredibly gritty, dark look at the man from Krypton. But, just because he passed on that doesn't mean he could pass on this in the future. I just don't think that would be my bet for who's going to take that role.
If James Gunn's gonna do a Batman Beyond movie, he's gonna announce it for sure.
Yeah.
Announce it ahead of time. But we got a slate already ready that he's announced, and I'll
think-
just be excited for those things for now.
I think if you do a Batman Beyond, it's an Elseworlds kind of thing, though.
I think so.
You know?
It can be its own thing. And then you always have the opportunity to find that connective thread.
Yeah.
Right.
You can make it happen. It's in the future.
All right. Well, we got Sam Fisher with a two-parter. Chris, thoughts on the Doctor Who specials? I loved Nikuti. I could already tell he'd be a doctor who is happy and flamboyant showman, or he is a happy and flamboyant showman in The Giggle. And I love that he spent all of that episode in pants, and he was excellent. That's what people say about me too on these.
Not
And
today.
he was excellent in the Christmas special. So was Millie Gibson's Ruby. They have excellent chemistry.
Oh, they have wonderful, wonderful chemistry. So to clarify, for us Americans, pants means underoos. So, Jonathan, you really need to start being more
No,
professional.
Jonathan, come on.
Just gonna,
Commando's not acceptable. All right.
I mean,
Noted.
I know it helps. It's breezy in here, but Shooty was great. I love him. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful doctor thus far. We've gotten an episode and some change with him. Basically, we saw that wonderful transformation, that regeneration, which was very, very exciting and very, very cool. And Ruby is a super fun companion so far as well. I'm hoping we learn more about her mom. Although honestly, I'd be pretty happy if it was just, hey, that's a mystery and that's how life is sometimes. No worries. But it's Doctor Who, and coincidences are never coincidences. So I'm sure we'll explore that a lot more. Especially how she just so intrinsically ties to how the Doctor doesn't know who he is or where he's from now. So it's going to be really interesting.
All right. Robert writes, I think Daredevil will be canon. Maybe about 80% of the show will be carried over into the MCU. Really hope they bring in Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
I really do too. I freaking love Jessica Jones. I think Kristen Ritter killed it. And Luke Cage, I do think the first half of that first season was better. And I think once we kind of shifted gears from our villain, it lost its way a little bit. But, man, oh man, I loved those guys.
My thing with I loved her performance. I love Purple Man. David Niven, come on.
Oh my gosh,
But-
David Tennant's so good.
And yeah, like I said, her performance was great. Character's great. My only issue with Jessica Jones is that you never really saw her power. Like, she'd punch a door off a hinge, but then like that, it's like at some point you'd see, oh, she's gonna jump really far, like across the city, but it would just be a close up on her feet
Of just
and then
feet.
jumping, and it's like, okay, so she can jump across the city, but then other times she can just like barely like hold her own sometimes. So
Yeah.
like they didn't really.
And she and Luke Cage can have very rough sex.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So, I mean, that's not a big deal, but like get consistent with power levels
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I understand they were focusing more on a psycho, what was going on with her head in Purple Man and everything. And that was, I think that was a more important story to tell.
For sure.
But, get a little more consistent with that. I was surprised that Disney Plus has all those Netflix shows on there. So something
Yeah.
has happened recently where this is now Echo's MA. Set your dials to MA, guys, on Disney Plus, and all the Netflix shows are on Disney Plus now. I really think they're walking back the comments of Feige on, oh well, Deadpool will be our only R-rated content.
Yeah.
I think they realize, no, we don't have to.
That's not smart. Well, because Iger famously has talked about how this is a family company and things are not going to be rated R. And that's definitely being walked back because I think you can still have the integrity of these family properties while you have violent shows or people who say fuck. I
it
don't know.
reminds me of the good old days of wrestling when WWF was at the time was losing to WCW, and they said, "What do we do to fix this?" Oh, let's just show a bunch of mature stuff now. We start mature storylines. Kind of feels like Marvel's becoming more open to this world that they haven't really dabbed into.
Hey, man, it's like Vince Vaughn and Swingers because they're growns up and growns up and they're growns up.
Well said.
With that, we got Shamrock Vibes, who writes, love the new Doctor Who episode over Christmas. Happy New Year. Wish you all the very best.
Oh, man. Do you guys watch Doctor Who at all?
No.
No,
So
but
this
it's-
is then when it comes to
God.
Doctor Who, you are our resident expert.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I highly recommend everyone watch it. And it's going to be so much more accessible for folks because it is on Disney Plus. Granted, you have a Disney Plus subscription. But man, I'm really enjoying this new Doctor. You can catch up on episodes. It's super, super fun. There's not a wrong way to jump into this show, too. You can start fresh with this new Doctor. You can go back all the way back to the beginning of this show that spans over 60 years. You can jump in at any point, really, because everything's so cyclical and it'll come back, and it helps you if you know all the things in it, but you really can just kind of jump in. A great jumping point, honestly, is David Tennant's episode Blink, Super X-Files. It's really, really good.
At this point, you
Great
could
show.
say David Tennant, anything. I'm just going to
That's
watch
true.
it.
I freaking love him. Man, I'm so excited for Good Omens Season 3.
Fun fact, real quick, because I just remember when I said that Vince Vaughn line, it took me back to one of my friends when he turned 21. I promised him I would reenact that line from Vince Vaughn, and we took him out. He was 21. We took him out to he was younger than us. He was the younger guy, and we went to 101 Cafe where that scene is shot, and he kind of forgot about it. And I started running the lines at him, and he didn't really catch the lines. And then he started to catch on. And I got up on the booth and I started doing that because you're growns up and you're growns up and you're growns up. I just got a flashback to that.
Well
I'm like,
done.
oh man, alcohol. Anyway, we got Jermaine King here who says, in the immortal words of regenerating Ninth Doctor, Chris, you were fantastic today, and you know what? So was I.
Wow.
Wow, this is the doc. I'm glad you're in today.
Yeah, it's all Doctor Who. The chat knows who's here.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you
know
very,
their-
very much. I
They know
appreciate
their
that.
audience.
Yeah, they know their audience. They know themselves. Eccleston. Great Doctor too. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, and if you got any comments on Ahsoka, I think it would be a great day to actually finally
We can
send
finally
those
talk
in.
about
Those
that.
pent up Ahsoka
Yeah.
feelings are coming out.
Ahsoka, One Piece we don't have to worry about anymore. I
No.
think he's on board with
We can
that.
talk about tons of
But
stuff.
yeah, Ahsoka, you got any questions
Come
held
on.
deep down inside that you've
Let
been
it out.
saving, been wanting to let out?
If you got Ahsoka in your heart, let it
Let
out.
it out.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
do it. Just do it today.
Yeah.
Only today.
Only
Yeah.
today.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe
Maybe, maybe. Let it all out so you don't have to waste any more time sending those in.
Dane, your check says New Echo trailer today seemed to confirm Daredevil being canon. Oh, wait. There was a new Echo trailer today. How did we drop the ball on that? Did that just come out?
Let's
You
see.
know what? I'm gonna say this, and I don't say this.
Say that while we do a little research.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to see any more trailers. I'm gonna watch episode 1 for sure, just to see if it's something that I could get into. That's it. The first trailer was enough for me.
Okay, it was
think
an
it's-
hour. It was an hour ago.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever felt that way before about anything like that? Recently that you remember where you saw one trailer and you said, I don't care to see anymore. I'm gonna watch it.
Sure. I mean,
know?
yeah. I mean, there was, especially with TV spots. I don't really watch TV.
Yeah.
I'm streaming up pretty much most of the time. But like when I was on like cable more often,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't watch TV spots because there were just these 30-second spoilers every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that's the way I feel about Echo. So
this trailer's interesting. It's like black and white with a touch of red in it. I mean, the
Ooh.
explosions are colorized. So it looks like it is a Kingpin sort of
Kingpin.
centric. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, I think we'll have something to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
So thanks for that
Do
heads
a little
up.
trailer breakdown for y'all.
We've got South Texas Shark who says, "Did you know that there is a D&D cookbook?"
Oh,
Wait. Who's the author? Ray, can you look that up?
Kyle Newman.
Is that Kyle Newman?
Oh, for the cookbook.
Yeah.
Let me check that out. Yeah. I'm
See-
pretty
see-
sure John has
He's
that.
one of the people on it, yeah, because it's the Hero's Feast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So friend of the show, Kyle Newman,
Yeah.
director extraordinaire. Yeah, probably had his hands in that.
I still have his recent release on Blu-ray, still wrapped. I haven't watched it. I'm sorry, but I see that cookbook in John's kitchen, and I'm like, that cookbook really needs to be in my kitchen.
That should be in your
Because
home where
there's
it'll be used.
the pages still look crisp, hasn't even been open. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, Kyle Newman is listed as the first author.
I was
on
like, I would wear out that cookbook. I think
Yeah.
so. The pages would be all already.
you know, what we
Yeah.
could do. We could set up a side. We could set up some side content where we cook. Ray cooks the
Ray cooks
D&D
the Dungeons
cookbook.
Feast. Ooh.
No, see, when I'm put
Hero's
on the
Feast.
okay, here's a little secret. If someone tells me to cook something and they're really excited about it, it's probably gonna be the
Well,
worst.
no, Ray, because it's called editing. So we just make sure. it's all done right.
No. No, that's why I stopped working in I worked in a kitchen one time, and I realized when I'm told to make something, it's not as good as when
no,
I feel
yeah, I
when I feel like making something.
I understand that, but you also wouldn't have the pressure of
Yeah.
you wouldn't have the pressure of
Well,
that.
I mean, we're gonna have billions watching me, right? Billions and billions.
Yeah, but I'll
The
be editing. I'll be
billions.
making you look good, Ray.
Yeah, I'll be your
And that
Sue.
food will look good.
Oh,
and if
yeah?
it didn't come out right,
Yeah.
we'll act.
Yeah.
We can be like, That's my acting.
He
I
knows
don't know,
it.
Chris
That's
can maybe
great.
do better.
No, I won't be able. If you guys see me being like, "That smells great," that's the greatest acting I've ever done in my life.
I'm like,
Yeah, I need to check out that cookbook. It looks
Yeah.
really thick. It looks like it has a lot of recipes. Yeah, thick with 2 C's or
yeah.
yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of them.
17 C's.
Ron H writes, you're starting your year right when you experience some BBC early on. keep it.
Ron,
Well, okay, keep it hard, keep it long, keep it filthy. Happy New Year, crew. Boy, I had to struggle through that one,
Why
Ron.
would we keep our British broadcasting
Ron, he's such a
company?
clever
Why would we
guy.
keep our Champion crew?
Okay, what would we do without you, Ron?
Thanks, Ron. Really, honestly. Okay. All right, Harv's K with a $10 super chat. Catching up on some 2023 movies and finally watched Nimona on Netflix. Was a bit floored at how good it was. Beautiful story, went to some places Disney and most studios never would. Nimona, I'm
That's
not
an
sure.
Nimona.
animation, right?
It's an animation one, yeah. It really didn't do it for me
Oh, really?
personally. Yeah, it was really. I think I also was a little too excited about it, and then it just didn't kind of live up to the
I
expectation.
thought you liked it, actually. I thought it
was
maybe
cute.
yeah.
It was fine. Taylor loved it.
Oh yeah, that's who.
Yeah, Taylor really, really loved it, and then
Yeah.
got
Shout out
very
to Taylor.
disappointed that I didn't love it.
Taylor, if you're out there, shout out.
Taylor Gonzalez, we love you.
All right, so look, we're going to move over to our fabulous member questions over here.
Ooh, okay.
Starting off with Kyle Muna. Hey, John and crew, I'm glad that you're back. Maybe feeling better. I just watched The Holdovers this week. I want to see it this week.
Yeah.
I gotta
Because
see
it's
that
still in theaters. I'm going to see it at
know.
the small AMC 8 in the mall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And loved it. It might now be a new yearly Christmas watch. Have you seen it?
Oh,
and what did
wow.
you think? Yeah, I haven't personally seen it.
Me
I haven't
neither.
seen it, but Paul Giamatti teaming up with his Sideways director again. I mean, come on.
That's just perfection
Yeah.
in the making. I'm
I
excited
just
about
love
it.
his serious line in San Andreas. Well, I forgot what it was when you were talking about the earthquake. That's all I remember him from. But yeah, ever since CinemaCon, I've been wanting to see this movie. I just haven't. It's just not.
I was afraid it was going to leave theaters. I'm really glad it's
Yeah.
at least playing in the smaller theaters still.
I need to see it.
We've got Noah Kasser who writes, do you find it hard to watch new TV shows? Finding time to watch all the movies I want to see. I find it hard to watch new TV shows. This year I plan to make time to watch more TV. We're glad you're okay. Oh, we're all glad you're okay, John.
Oh, thanks, Noah.
We'll send those well wishes to John. But
Yeah.
as far as like, I feel like I see a good amount, especially this time of year, because a lot of movies gearing up for the awards like season. December is really packed.
Yeah.
November leaving in December. But most of the year, I can get away with like 2, maybe 3 movies at most at a month.
Yeah.
So maybe like 2, which is still a lot for most people. But I don't find it hard. Like what I find hard to keep up with TV shows is just my then daily life.
Yeah,
Like when do I just sit down to start something new and absorb it all?
exactly. I'm usually about 3 movies a month in a theater.
Yeah.
And then I'll stream some stuff too. But I think that's also why we have all of us on this show, right? Because there's just too many things. And if we actually got to watch everything, none of us would be people.
And one of the things I did watch during our little week off was I did watch Percy Jackson, the new series.
Me too.
And wow, I just left off at episode 2, but the ending of episode 2, I think the newest episode has come out.
It's
right?
dropped, yeah.
I can't wait to see that. The way episode 2 ended, I was like, oh boy, I'm in. I'm in.
I'm really in.
I'm not sure about the side characters. I haven't attached myself to any of them. I mean, the guy who's like a part goat. What is it, part goat or whatever? He's
A satyr?
funny.
Satyr, yeah.
But it's all about Percy Jackson to me. I'm like, what could this kid do? Like, what is he gonna do? Like, cause the way episode 2 ended, I was like, did Ray just like a show?
What I tend to do now, because there are, like, you're right, man, there are so many like streaming services and options that I kind of focus on a streamer and just try to get through the highlights of what I want to see on that streamer and then move to the next streamer and try to go through the content that I want to see on that. Just to kind of organize it, because you can be popping everywhere.
I
Like,
might be the champion of episode 1 watching. I've watched so many episode 1s of everything.
that's most people though.
Yeah.
Because then you see if you like it or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So up next, we've already done Noah here. We've got Wesley Altersdorf, I think. Hi, John and crew. After getting through Aquaman 2, a couple of kids got up from the seats behind and said, don't know why the critics said it was a bad movie. It was awesome. Made me laugh. Well, you got, certain audience
The
members are
kids
going to
liked
feel
it
like that.
in
Yeah.
my theater. The kids were standing and like some of them actually even clapped. So you know what? It's good to hear.
Well,
I mean,
but here's okay. Again, like when it comes to like the critics didn't like it. Not all the critics disliked it. I mean, what is it on Rotten Tomatoes right now? I mean, I understand it's a low.
it's probably like in the 30s. From
I understand it's like, let's just say for time's sake, it's like 35%. But that's still like 3 or 4 out of 10 critics who liked it. So you can't say, oh, the critics didn't like it. The majority of critics didn't, but there's still some like credible like critics that did.
Yeah.
So, it often gets wrapped up in this like, oh, the audience and the critics they're always apart. And more often than not, and John has said this on the show as well, and you can just do the fact checking yourself. The critics and the audience score on good movies often are together. They are pretty close.
You know the positives I take out of Rotten Tomatoes is all I ever use it for is to let me know about movies that weren't on my radar that people are giving high praise or like a high score to. That's where it helps me out because then I'm like,
Oh, I nailed it. It's 35%.
I'll be into that movie. But everything else that comes out that I know about that I know I'm gonna watch,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't even look at Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna see it and just form my own opinion just because it's what most people should do, I think. I mean, if there's a movie that interests you even a little bit, like, go see it. I mean, you'll help out the industry.
Yeah, for sure, man. Go see. You got to support your local theaters.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, too, though, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, in theory, was going to. Oh no, that was a misquote from CBR. Never mind. I was going to say it was supposed to go to streaming pretty soon, but never mind.
All right.
I'm wrong.
So, Jai CSC writes here quite a bit, but let's read it. Hello, John Campea. Glad to hear that you're out of the hospital. Other than the visit to the ER, I hope you all had an enjoyable festive season. Ours was also hampered by 3, now 4 members of my family being hospitalized for separate reasons. That's terrible, man.
Yeah.
All of us now healthy and back home, but see, that's great. I was discharged just in time for Christmas Day. Oh, so you were one of those 3 or 4. But I wasn't well enough to stop the others from picking Rebel Moon to watch that evening.
Oh, was that all lead up to that punchline right
no.
there?
Like, could I have just like paid for another night in the
You know
hospital?
what? Everyone,
Just eat some Jello. They can watch Rebel Moon. Now I'm not saying that I would rather have been back in the hospital. Well, okay, with an IV, a catheter. No, just the Jello. None of that.
Yeah.
Still inserted, but I did spend too much time wondering if that would be preferable to the movie.
Damn.
so he's a Jello guy then.
Well, I made him a Jello guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, I spoke
You,
for him.
Jonathan's
you
Jello
know what?
guy.
My number one thing at the hospital, I've had 2 hospital stays, and the only thing I asked for is give me that vanilla pudding and Sprite. That's all I ever ate there. Like none of the meals, I'm like, no, but they force you. They put the meal in front of you. I'm like, this doesn't look good. Give me some vanilla pudding.
And Sprite.
That's why I'm so ripped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
got
why
them
I'm
pudding
the
abs.
physique. I am.
The vanilla pudding packs.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's why I call him pudding.
yeah.
Pudding
They call me
pack.
pudding. Made of pudding.
I've only been in the hospital once. It was a bad bike accident. But
You know, to be serious, like there's these viruses that are going around right now
Yeah.
that seem to be hitting really hard.
Yeah.
And it's random, or like they're all. It's like 3 of them. Everyone just stay safe. Try to.
yeah,
try to
there's a
stay away
bad
from them.
strep throat strain that actually is like more than just a sore
Yeah.
throat. And
It's a
then,
lot of bad stuff right
know,
now.
And when
gross.
we went to the hospital, that was filled with people, and I was like, whoa, this is like a.
No wonder you went outside in that chat thread you were talking. to us
Yeah.
about.
I try to stay
You made some
outside.
friends.
It's just because sometimes if you go, it just makes me a little sick. Like just like seeing everything that's happening.
It's a high
like I feel
concentration
nauseous.
of
So I have to get air.
Yeah.
And plus, been there a couple times for like reasons like it's sometimes it can be a little traumatizing just to see the area again. But you know what? John is nursing up. He's recovering. And he should be back soon. I mean, don't worry about anything. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely was a gut punch for him, but he is recovering.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we got time for a few more here. Mista47 writes, would it be more profitable for a studio to release a movie on streaming or digital only, no streaming after its theatrical run? So I think he means pay-per-view. So
Oh.
it's been
okay.
proven that movies should be going into theaters first.
Yes. And
Because
then they
even
do
if you
better
don't
streaming.
catch it in theaters, you get that fear of missing out. So then you catch it on streaming.
Yes.
But the typical path is theater, pay-per-view, right? And then streaming service. And that's the most profitable.
There's only 2 movies that are.
And of course, if you want to release
Right.
on physical media, you'll make Robert Meyer Burnett very happy, and you'll obviously make some money.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's like, does the distribution of that reconcile with how many copies of Blu-rays you're selling? So
Well, the thing is, the digital thing, the digital purchase, it only worked twice, from what I know. Like, we got the last Jurassic Park or Jurassic World because I didn't see it in theaters, and we had family over for a Thanksgiving or something like that. So we ordered it, and the only other movie was Lola, which is on I think Amazon, and I couldn't find it playing in theaters or anything, and so I was kind of forced because I wanted to watch it so bad that I don't want to say forced, but I had to purchase the digital copy in order to watch it, and it ended up being a good movie. I think Robert mentions this movie a lot. It's the two girls that have like this radio station and that tells them what happens in the future.
oh yeah,
It's a black and white movie.
yeah.
It's really short. It's a really good movie. I mean, I liked it. So people check that out.
From the 1940s?
Oh no.
Or?
It's a new movie.
It's a new movie.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called Lola or Lolo or it's Lola. I think. It's a sci-fi
Oh,
movie.
okay. Oh, there was a
Yeah.
All
recent
right.
version that came out in 2022. Okay.
So we got Callum who says, hey guys, do you think Deadpool 3 will only involve the original X-Men actors, or do you think it will involve the younger ones as well? I would love to see Michael Fassbender back as Magneto again. Also, I hope John is doing better. Well, I think it's going to involve a lot of the original ones because we've already
Yeah.
gotten casting news.
But it's also
But
going to
who
involve
knows if
freaking
it's-
everybody.
If it's going to be going through time or what it's going to do.
Yeah, because Elektra's in there, and I don't know. I think we could see some other folks.
I mean, look, I
We've already
not
seen
to
the
s-
younger ones.
Yeah, and not to spoil anything out of like, look, if you haven't seen the Marvels yet, you probably aren't planning on it. But if you don't want to be spoiled about an end credit scene, then just mute it right now. Okay. So, that end credit scene where they show Beast and all that. That's the original cast, and I'm not saying there's anything really hugely to that, but I think it's also getting us prepped for their introduction into like Deadpool 3 as well.
Yeah,
That's all.
absolutely.
So I think it's going to focus on that. I haven't heard anything of Fassbender being cast unless they were keeping that really, or any of the others. Oh gosh, why can't I think of
James McAvoy.
McAvoy, yeah.
could-
I'd love to see them again, but I don't know that they're.
You could-
gonna be
Well,
in
we
this.
had that just again that little burst in Deadpool 2
Yeah.
of just like, oh, those guys
Yeah.
when they open the doors.
And it seems like even like actors like Sabretooth, it's like the Sabretooth from the very first X-Men, not.
oh, it's Liev Schreiber, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
But
Levi.
see,
it's not the
Liev
other guy.
Schreiber, we've heard about casting news, but then I've seen stuntmen who look like
the other one.
The other
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they may both be in it.
That would make sense though, because it's all going to be like multiverse timelines.
I know.
etc.
Yeah,
Who
but we're not
knows?
supposed to mention those
Oh yeah.
photos. Sorry,
yeah, that's
sorry,
right.
sorry.
No, we can mention the photos.
know,
I mean, those are a lot. We just can't. I just didn't show.
Yeah,
it.
that post credit scene, like you could take it just because of the way Marvel is. You could take it as they're prepping for reentry, or it just could have been another Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, with what's his name, A Quiet Place.
John
guy.
Krasinski.
Yeah, one of those things where they just did it to please the fans, but they're not
potentially.
really going anywhere with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. So, CJ Rebirth says these are my top 10 of 2023. We'll start from the bottom. 10, Color Purple. 9, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. 8, Wish. Oppenheimer. Followed coming up behind that, Shazam 2. Nimona was number 5. Blue Beetle number 4. Elemental 3. Spider-Verse 2 number 2. And Godzilla -1 is number 1.
Nice.
-1.
That ties
That's
in
an
nicely.
interesting. I don't think a lot of people would have those on their top
Yeah.
10s, but also, yeah, you got a good mix there between like stuff like Color Purple, and then obviously Oppenheimer's in there, but then you've got like Blue Beetle. It's a good mix.
That's a very good
Eclectic.
mix.
I
Very
wouldn't be
eclectic.
surprised to see Godzilla -1 on a lot of people's number of people's number 1.
On a top
Yeah.
10, on a top 10, it's mine. On a top 5, it's not.
And
But-
plus, it has that advantage of being the last thing probably most people watched. So it has that like recency thing.
Yeah.
But so, -1, I'm telling you, is in my top 5 for sure.
And then quickly following this, we just have Charles Edmond who says, "What are your top 5 films?" I mean, if you can't name 5, you can name 3. But of 23, what are some of your? Top
I'm not going to
ones?
put them in order.
I don't know
Yeah,
if I
I
can
don't
do an
know the
order
order.
right now because
It's
it takes
so hard
time.
this year. There's so many
Honestly,
like
Godzilla -1.
yeah.
Mutant Mayhem.
Uh-huh.
Spider-Verse.
See, I keep forgetting about Mutant Mayhem too. Like I can't do a top.
I always have to
I-
have room for Air in my top 5 because I just
Air
enjoyed
too.
Air so
Oh,
much.
Air was so good. I really
Yeah.
liked The Creator.
I like Creator too. There's so many, and
there's
then
a
we
lot.
go
That's why
earlier
you
in the
just throw them in
year.
a top 10. I wouldn't even order it. These
Yeah.
are just 10 I really
Just
like.
10 I
We go
enjoyed.
early in the
Yeah.
year. We
Oh my
have
gosh.
Creed 3. We have John Wick 4. We have so
Yeah.
many
Oh,
movies.
Guardians.
Yeah,
Guardians
I can't.
3.
I can't. It's just I would fight myself and punch myself in the face if I tried
Yeah.
to put those in order.
All
There's just so
right.
many.
Well, that basically does it for our members chats, and
Okay.
I guess we're gonna say goodbye there, right?
Wonderful. Guys, thank you for being members. Thank you for putting in your super chats. We cannot do this show without you. Otherwise, it's just 3 of us kind of talking on text.
Yeah,
and-
we're trying to
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to do this on last second.
Yeah. Yeah, so
thing.
thank you for being here with us. We always appreciate when you still tune in when it's the Batman Beyond crew, and hopefully you had a wonderful time with us. We will see you tomorrow. John may or may not be here, but
Yeah, we don't know.
we'll keep you posted. Stay safe, stay well. Until next time, thank you, Ray Ora.
See ya.
Thank you, Jonathan Voico.
See you tomorrow, maybe.
And I'm Chris Carr, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.